You are now entering the Movies from A to B podcast, a show where two guys talk two movies and have too much fun.
Really? That's what you want to go with?
Yeah, that does sound stupid, but this podcast is anything but. We watch one notable A movie,
And then one lesser-known B movie.
and then share our thoughts. Be warned, this show includes numerous spoilers, so we highly recommend watching both movies beforehand. Listener discretion advised. We use adult language.
We say fuck.
So thanks for listening and enjoy the show. Today on the MFAB podcast, for the A side, we have 2003's Interstellar.
And on the B side, we have 1999's The Item.
So sit back, grab some corn on the cob.
And don't open that box.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Movies from A to B podcast, also known as the MFAB podcast. Yours truly here speaking is Aaron. Let me introduce Gavin. He's across the room. Say hi, Gavin.
I think I can say hi for myself. Hi, this is Gavin.
No.
Yeah.
All right. So on today's show, we are going to be discussing two very different movies. First of which will be the 2014 sci-fi epic Interstellar, directed by Christopher Nolan, starring Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway. And the latter part of the show, we'll be reviewing The Item.
1999's The Item, actually. By Dan Clark, written, directed, and starring
Dan Clark.
Dan Clark.
All right, but we will get to that one later. Thanks for listening. We'll jump right in here to Interstellar.
Great movie.
Great.
Loved it.
I can't agree more with that. I'm going to kind of give you a walkthrough here. So if you haven't watched the movie, as we've warned you already, now would be the time to go see that. So
many spoilers ahead.
Yes. Pause this, come back to this 3 hours later. This is a long movie, so...
Just for fair warning, anytime you're going to be listening to this, you should probably watch the movie beforehand, because we are going to be talking a lot of spoilers.
Definitely. So, alright, so the movie starts out here. We're looking like we're in the western part of the United States.
Yeah, southwestern, maybe.
Probably around
Dust Bowl.
Dust Bowl area. That's kind of what it reminds you of, because they kind of have an intro to people, older people almost talking about the Dust Bowl.
Yeah, giving away the day-to-day lives of living with dust, pretty much.
We kind of learn that the world, the United States mainly, is in a very dark place right now. You come to find out there's a food shortage. Crops are dying off. One of the first things we hear is John Lithgow's character saying that it's the last year for okra, which...
Yeah, neighbors burning down a field.
Yeah, they're burning off
last
their
year
fields.
for okra.
And we kind of look in on Matthew McConaughey's character. He's taking his kids to school. You get a flat tire, and you see this drone come flying over top of him.
Yeah, right overhead. Crazy shot.
And as Gavin put it,
yeah, for
take off after it.
I don't understand how in a world full of that's low on food and low on people in general, how tearing ass through a fucking field full of corn to chase after a drone while recklessly endangering your child's lives.
Literally, just destroying countless years of corn.
Acres and acres of food being wasted.
So he finally hacks into this drone, brings it down, and basically salvages some parts from it. And finds out, they're late for school. Kid gets suspended from school.
Yeah, the little one, Murph.
Little Murph, yes.
She's going to get suspended for
God.
in the past.
If I wanted to do a count on how many times we heard that name through this movie, but you'd lose count within the first 5 minutes. So...
The other kid's kind of faceless throughout the movie.
Yeah, Tom, you don't see him much. He's just kind of there. And he's like,
just kind of going with the flow and doing what...
So... When they go back home, Murph keeps talking about this ghost in her room. Books are constantly falling off her shelf, noises and whatever, and that you hear a lot about this ghost throughout the movie.
Yeah, but you kind of... who, Matthew McConaughey, what's his name in the movie? Cooper. Cooper is being a complete dick the entire time about this.
There's no such thing as ghosts.
It's got to be scientific.
It's got to be scientific. Murph is trying to figure out all this. Like, there's dusts from falling in her room, leaving signs, and Coop comes in and tries to decipher it, and he figures out it's coordinates, and they get these coordinates, and he's like, I'm gonna go find where these coordinates lead.
Which, who does that in the first place?
Yeah.
Honestly.
I've got crops we need to take care of.
And who knows binary?
Yeah.
Why does he know binary?
Well, as we saw in the opening scene, he was some sort of pilot. I remember he was having that.
All pilots know binary.
Apparently.
That's like a given.
That's
Really,
common knowledge in the future, obviously. But he goes to leave, find these coordinates. He thinks Murph stays back, when Murph actually hides in the truck. So they go on an all-day, all-night journey. They finally find out where these coordinates are. They come into a fence that he gets out.
Yeah.
A bright light flashes at him.
Some alien abduction
And
type
you
bright
hear
light.
Murph scream, and your screen goes white, and then he's waking up, and he's wondering where the hell he's at.
That happens a few times in the movie, though.
Yeah. We're introduced to one of the coolest characters of this movie that I know Gavin liked, Tars.
Tars was awesome.
Awesome door-looking robot.
Crazy, pixelated, kind of like boxy.
Kind of boxy. And you see him, you're probably going to think of, like, a China hutch. It's just a giant block.
Yeah, Minecraft.
Yeah, very Minecrafty. But we'll get to more about Tars later. But he's being interviewed by Tars. And in walks Anne Hathaway's character, who is Dr. Brand? Professor Brand? Or is her dad?
One or the other. It's all the same.
Brand is her
She's a Brand.
name. Yeah, she's a Brand. Coop's asking questions. Where's my daughter? What's going on here? They bring him into a room where his daughter's at, and they basically lay the news on him that here in this tiny underground bunker lies NASA.
Yeah, the last remnants of NASA.
Like, it appears that society has seemingly said, to hell with NASA and technology, we need food.
Yeah.
So NASA is like an underground...
Well, at one point in time, didn't John Lithgow's character say, like, the population was down?
The population was dying. They need food. They need to care about what's here first.
Which is why earlier in the movie suggests that Matthew Cooper gets with Murph's teacher to further the population.
Yeah.
Doing his part. Getting it in.
So, when he's there, they basically let him know that Earth's dying. That there's no more sustainable life on this planet. Crops are dying off. Really, all that's left is corn, and that's going to be going away.
Yeah, each crop is dying off every so many years.
And what the government wants is people to find a new way to keep living on Earth, whereas the bigger possibility would be discovering life somewhere else and moving everybody out there. So once they lay all this news on him, which in an overnight, pretty huge decision for him to make, either stay here and die with his family, basically, or go out into the infinite space and try and find a new place to live.
So he does what every normal, family man would do and completely drops his entire family to go on a crazy adventure.
Later. Bye, Felicia. And...
fuck y'all, I'm out.
Fuck you, I'm out. So... Murph is just devastated. This is one of the saddest points in the movie.
Yeah.
And he has to go say bye to her. His older son gets it. It's sad, but Murph doesn't want her dad to leave.
Yeah, like I said, the kid, Tom, or whatever, he doesn't have
he's like,
much of any emotion or anything.
I'm going to go do drugs and stuff while you're gone. But he does a tearful goodbye to Murph where he basically tells her, I don't know when I'm coming back, if I'm coming back. And that's just heartbreaking to her. So he leaves. Both of him, he's crying as he's driving away. Sad moment.
Yeah. Seen sadder.
Yeah. But the sheer fact that he's leaving his kid and she doesn't know if he's ever going to see her again. It's a sad fact to think about.
Yeah.
So let me come up to them, blasting off into space. It's Coop,
For a 3-hour long movie, there were points in this where it just felt like it was breezing by.
That's what I loved about this, is that it's a 3-hour movie, but you're not even going to notice it because you're so ingrained in the story.
Yeah.
It just flies by.
There were definitely points where like that whole first scene, or first section that we just talked about, like, felt like it shot by really quick.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
before you know it, they're blasting off into space and
traveling through wormholes. And
Coop is with Professor Grant, and you're introduced to 2 other characters. Can't really remember their names. One's a black dude.
Yeah, black dude.
And the other guy. He's in the Hunger Games. Don't know who he is, but he was the weird guy in the Hunger Games. We'll figure out who that is.
Yeah.
Anyways, they're blasting off into space. What they're basically going for is there's this black hole out by Saturn, and that's going to shoot them into another galaxy.
This is your daughter, and she just got this. Oh boy. But you got...
Alright, let that part out.
Yeah, okay, we'll just edit shit.
Okay. So...
We're not very good at this, people. We're still working on it.
We're working out the kinks. But basically they're being shot into this new galaxy where they had sent out previously 12 astronauts known as the Lazarus missions, headed by a Dr. Mann. Remember that name? We'll get to him later.
Oh, yeah. I remember him.
We'll remember him. So it's TARS and the 4 astronauts, Coop, Professor Brandt, Black Dude, and Hunger Games guy. They approach this. At this point in the movie is where you really start to see some of the amazing visuals. And
this is one movie I really wish I would have watched in theaters.
Yeah, I highly recommend, if you haven't watched this or if you are watching this, the bigger the screen, the better. Because it's just Christopher Nolan and whoever did the work with the visuals did an amazing job. They approach the wormhole, trippy as fuck. That was...
Yeah, there was a whole...
It's distorted.
Not the first time in this movie, but definitely not the last. Well, it was the first time, but definitely not the last. Acid trips galore.
Yeah, we notice as they're going through this, Professor Brandt, Anne Hathaway's character, kind of reaches out and, like, her fingers get distorted and she almost, like, touches something and she feels something.
Yeah, she's finger banging some, like, electric
something. And,
or whatever.
yeah. Once they reach this new galaxy, there's 3 planets that are basically showing signs that, hey, we could live life there. The first one they want to go to is from Dr. Miller, one of the astronauts that went out. It's a water planet. So the simple fact that there's water there knows that there's probably sustainable life there. However...
But, yeah, super close to wormhole.
Super close to this wormhole, Gargantua. And the closer you get to that, the more time
passes.
And pass.
Because science.
Yeah, science. The best way to describe this is that 1 hour spent on Miller's planet costs 7 years in Earth time.
Which is insane.
So basically, if they go down there, they need to go down there, get whatever data they need, and get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
So, upon landing, which is crazy because this planet is covered in water, it looks to be about 2 foot deep.
Yeah. Water you can walk in.
Yeah.
They
discover wreckage, and as they go to save the data from this wreckage, they think they see what appears to be mountains coming from behind them.
Which I'm sure if anyone has seen this trailer, you know this scene.
This is one of the scenes from the trailer. Those aren't mountains. It is a gigantic wave coming at them, which...
Killer ass wave.
I find... How does this wave happen in 2 foot of water? But science. Who knows?
Well... we can go
Doyle.
into semantics, but...
That's the Hunger Games dude. Doyle. I wrote that down. Doyle is this guy's name. Don't worry about him. He's not really central to the story. They rush back to the ship.
Played by Wes Bentley.
Wes Bentley. That's who he is, yes. You may know him from the Hunger Games. He had the weird beard facial hair, who Katniss kills in the second one.
Yeah, weird beard.
Or is murdered in the second one. I don't know. But this isn't about the Hunger Games. Anyways, Anne Hathaway is like, we need this data. We need to get this data.
And everyone else is like,
get the fuck back here. Get out. Come on, we gotta go.
Why the fuck are we still
time?
Here? We're going to die.
So, basically, TARS has to haul ass, and this is where you get to see how cool TARS is.
Yeah, which you were saying earlier? About TARS?
Oh, TARS, yeah. If you're watching the movie, you're like, oh, this is some awesome CGI. Tars was not CGI'd. He was actually puppeted by somebody named Bill Irwin. He also did the voice for him, and they just edited him out later. But basically, you're in 2 feet of water. Coop can't rush out there to get her. She's a ways away from the ship. So he sends Tars out to get her.
Who turns into a giant spindly death ball.
Death ball, and like picks her up and zoom, 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 back to the ship. And unfortunately, they can't get out of there in time, and they're basically turning it into a surfboard.
One of them got stuck out there too.
Doyle.
Yeah, totally bit it.
Wes Bentley's character Doyle. Yeah, he just got washed away.
You know, a 20-story wave comes at you, and he's stuck outside.
Yeah, so
he's
gone. Yeah.
Killed.
Basically, good job, Professor Grant, for wasting time. Now their
Your
engines
crew murdered.
Yeah. Now their engines are waterlogged. They have to wait until the engines get drained for them to get off this planet, which is going to cost them about an hour or two's worth of time. So they finally make it off the planet, nearly dodging another wave.
Yet another wave.
Coop gets them out of there. They come back to the spaceship, to where...
Oh, yeah, we had mentioned this earlier. Romilly? That was the other astronaut, black dude.
I can never figure out how they were saying his name.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, he stayed up on the ship while they all went down there, so he could,
track data, see what was going on.
Get as much data as he could on the
you don't really
gargantuan
see
black
him
hole.
up on the ship when they're down on Miller's planet.
Yeah, you don't at all.
Because when they come back,
he's old as fuck.
What had happened while they were down there, since they were down there roughly about 3 hours in time, 23 years Earth time had passed. That's just sad for...
Yeah, knowing like a lot of your family is
by
dead.
himself for 23 years. I mean, he said he did hibernate. It took the sleeping thing or whatever.
But still, how would you not go back? You know?
Right.
Just say fuck it at a certain point.
I mean, he had one hell of a hope to hang on to.
Yeah.
And he opens it up, and they just look at him, and he's like, I waited 23 years for you guys. And they're like...
Yeah.
Cool.
Sorry, dude.
What to do, man?
It's only been like a couple hours for us. So, back to work.
There, they realize how much time has passed. Cooper goes to the little message board.
Oh, yeah, they've been getting messages this entire time from home.
And we see that Tom and Murph, his children, have aged, and they've become significantly. Which Tom, now played by Casey Affleck, and Murph becomes played by Jessica Chastain, a couple...
Casey Affleck still being pretty faceless as Tom, so holding true to the character.
Yeah, very good. Jessica Chastain, kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
She really hates her dad at this point.
What, she had not sent a single message until...
Yeah, she did not want to talk to Coop until the day that she turned... One of her birthdays is before he left, he told her, I might not see you.
Next time I see you, we might be the same age.
Yeah. And the message she sends was on the birthday where they would be the same age, which kind of throws you for a loop. It's just like, wow, it's crazy.
A lot of mindfuckery.
So, once all the sadness is over, they realize time's passed, well, we got to keep moving. There's 2 more planets left. Planet from the astronaut Edmonds and planet from the astronaut Dr. Mayan.
Which, Brand, Anne Hathaway's character has kind of a bias and wants to go to his planet.
She wants to go to Edmund's planet because she is in love with him.
She wants to fuck.
She says it looks better, but there's really...
Yeah.
I need some D.
Yeah.
I've been up here a long time.
But they can only go to one, pretty much.
They can only go to one, basically. So they decide to go to Dr. Mann's because they've actually gotten data from him that's promising.
Suggests that it's possible to live.
And then I wrote this down. This is one of the things that I really like. One of the lines I love from the movie. Anne Hathaway's character says, "Love is the one thing we are capable of perceiving that transcends time and space." And I think that's cheesy, I know, but I like cheesy. Anyway, that's something that I think everybody can feel. We've learned that we'll come to find out later. Murph, she might hate her dad now, but she's going to fall in love with him. She still loves him, even though
she's going to fall in love with him.
God damn, that sounded bad.
They're the same age, but that's still kind of creepy.
Yeah. Anyways, so once they make a decision to go to Dr. Mann's, we kind of do a little parallel editing here. We go back to Earth, back to the ship, back to Earth. Back on Earth, we're 20, 30 years in the future. We arrive on a dinner scene in the house, and corn for everyone.
Oh, I love this scene because everything was corn.
Everything is made of corn.
They had cornbread, corn on the cob.
Corn on the cob, corn soup, corn cobbler, whatever.
Yes.
That's literally all there is to eat.
Which I don't understand that either, because if you have that much corn, you can feed livestock.
Yeah.
Why aren't they feeding livestock and eating steak with that corn?
But humans first. Fuck animals, Sorry, PETA, but yeah, that's how it's going to go. So we realize that, it's just corn. So that's kind of a little funny moment, but it's sad because that's really all there is left to eat. Then we kind of learn that Tom has kids now, and they have a terrible cough from being born into this dusty world.
Yeah, they got dust lung.
Dust lung, and that's just bad.
So Faceless Tom made a whole faceless family.
Yeah.
It just kind of sticks in the background.
Yeah. Back on the Endurance ship, which is the name of the ship that they've been on, they're off to Mann's planet. And then we come back to Earth, where we find Murph now works for NASA. And who's one of her colleagues that's helping her out? It's Eric Foreman. Topher Grace.
Oh, yeah, playing Getty.
He's just kind of there. He has a very small secondary part, but
yeah,
it's nice to see that he's still getting work.
Yeah, you don't see that often. I haven't seen anything with him since, Spider-Man 3.
Spider-Man 3, or he did some crappy, funny movies, or tried to.
Did he?
Yeah, there's one called Take Me Home Tonight.
They're probably horrible.
Yeah, it was not that good. But
I'm guessing.
Anyways, as we return back to there, we find out that Dr. Brand's father, played by Michael Caine, Professor Brand, he's died. He's the one who's been trying to figure out this formula for gravity and all this other crazy stuff. The formula that's going to save Earth. And on his deathbed, he basically tells Murph, all this shit I've been doing over the past how many years is just bullshit.
Whole bunch of crap.
Plan A of moving everybody away is not going to work.
Plan A was technically Plan B, which they're taking part in up in space on the Endurance.
Yeah, but
they had
a bunch of cryogenically frozen eggs,
embryos
that they're just going to start a new planet.
Yeah,
but their whole thing they got Coop to go up for was Plan A, that we're going to be able to move everybody. And, that's not going to work because Michael Caine's character is a dick.
Yeah.
So.
Well, he just lied.
And he dies.
Further the race.
Just way to fuck over humanity. I literally wrote that down. Dick move, bro.
It's not fucking over humanity, though. He's literally saving humanity by sending out Plan B.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Either way.
Still a dick move to everybody on Earth.
We go back to Mann's planet, and this is probably one of the coolest planets in the movie. It looks like a wintry, frozen lava field, if you ask me.
I was not a huge fan of this planet. It
Really?
was boring. It was drab.
It was boring, but it's a terrain that was kind of neat because
I'd rather have giant waves.
If you remember, they coming in, they were going to try and fly through a cloud, and they hit it, and they're like, oh, shit, it's frozen.
Shattering to pieces.
Stay away from that. They find where Mann's base is. They go into there. He's in the cryo tube. They open it up, and god damn it, everybody in whoever's watching this movie is going to get RKO'd. Out of nowhere, it's Matt Damon.
Matt
Damon. Out of nowhere.
Uncredited.
They did such a good job of this because he was not in any press for this movie. He was not in any trailers. Did not go to any of the screenings. Nobody knew he was in this movie until you saw the movie.
Maybe he just didn't believe in the movie.
Maybe. He was like, this is not the space movie I want to be in. I'm saving all my time and effort for The Martian.
Yeah.
So basically, he's been on this planet in a cryo tube for God knows how many years.
Expecting to die out there.
Expecting to die. And when they come, they basically resurrect him, hence the term Lazarus missions. And then he starts to show them all his data he found. He says, data looks good. It's...
Looks shitty up here, but...
Here, the lower we go,
there's a little better.
Live here. At this time, Murph had sent a message letting Professor Brandt know that her dad passed away. And then she's kind of like, yo, did he tell you that Plan A was shit? And Coop overhears this, and Coop is pissed.
Yeah.
So he's,
Which, why wouldn't you be? You expect him to do one thing and end up...
Right. So then we figure out TARS could probe a black hole for some reason. That comes into play later.
There's a lot of things that come into play that are kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah, out of nowhere. But back on Earth, Murph is back in her old room looking at the bookcase, and she's going to be there for a while as we keep going back and forth. But
lots of back and forth.
Back on Man's planet, Coop and Dr. Mann, Matt Damon's character, are venturing off. He wants to show them the rest of the planet.
Yes. It's at this point that Dr. Mann...
figure out another lie. None of his data is good. His planet sucks. He faked the data. Another dick move. And we have a fight scene.
Yeah.
And it's basically Matt Damon
trying to kill off
Coop. He breaks his mask. He can't really breathe. Takes away his communication system. And he's kind of stuck out there. And Dr. Mann did something to his station, or the ship, that Rowley, the black dude, goes back to the ship.
Oh, he did something to his robot.
He did something to the robot, yeah.
His powers like robot.
And there's a huge explosion. Bye-bye, Rowley. He's gone. So it's just Coop.
Yeah, Romley really got the shit end of the stick in this entire movie.
Man steals their spaceship. He's going to go to their base that's sitting up above his planet, the Endurance. Professor Bryant comes and saves Coop, takes him up there. And they're trying to communicate with Dr. Mann, telling him, hey, you don't know what you're doing, get away from our ship.
Yeah, there's no autopilot that's going to hook you back on.
Yeah, he hooks terribly, and as he's trying to connect to the ship, he blows it up.
Yeah. Blows up a good chunk of it anyways.
Totally caught me off guard. Like, I knew an explosion was going to come, because he was just going to do something up, messed it up. But it happens while he's, like, mid-sentence trying to tell them something. And it made me jump.
Did it?
Yeah.
I don't remember it making me jump.
Like, you guys don't understand. What I'm doing is kablam. And it's like, whoa. Coop and Brand are like, oh shit, that's like our only lifeline out of here. And they're like, how can we dock this thing? Because the Endurance is spinning now. You're not going to be able to dock this.
The spin.
Coop, the amazing planet, or captain is.
Pilot.
There we go. Pilot captain, yeah.
Think it through.
He's like, don't worry. I'm Matthew McConaughey. I drive like this. I got this shit, okay?
You got it.
All right.
Sits back.
All right. At this point, it's super intense. He's trying to dock his spinning ship to this other spinning thing. I'm going to get a chance here to talk about the score of this movie. Hans Zimmer did the score, and the music to this was just awesome.
Yeah, the music was amazing. It builds a lot of tension. There's a lot of drama. It just builds the entire time. There's a few times where I felt it built too much.
A little too much, but they also did a great job of not having music. If you remember back when they first entered space, it was silence, which kind of really made you feel like you were in space. All you could hear, there was no background music, no score. It was just buttons blooping and them talking. Like, probably what space would really be like. Buttons blooping, yeah. Anyways, Coop, gets docked. They're inside the pull of the giant wormhole Gargantua. Well, they don't have enough fuel. So Coop's like, we're going to use this giant wormhole to slingshot to Edmund's planet, and that's where we're going to try and save humanity.
Yeah.
And in doing so, they're going to send TARS into the black hole and see if they can get some data from the black hole. So they slingshot around. TARS goes flying into the black hole. And who follows after him?
Coop,
so does Coop.
Close.
Coop flies out, and Anne Hathaway's like, what are you doing? And remembers you back to an earlier scene when they had talked about being 100% honest.
Yeah.
And like, well, let's just keep it at 90% honest. And he reminds her of that. He's like, later, bitch. I'm going into this black hole.
Out.
This is where the movie gets super, super trippy.
All kinds of acid trip right here.
Yeah. Coop is alone in a black hole. It's terrifying. More stunning visuals.
Yeah, lots of very colorful lights.
Don't know where he is. And it's at this point we realize Murph didn't have a ghost. This was literally Coop in another dimension.
Yeah, in the fifth dimension, which he created, it gets all kinds of confusing right here.
Apparently, he's in the fifth dimension that we, as the human race, had made physical.
Into a third dimension, so he could leave a message for Murph back in the day.
We go back to Earth, and he finds out where Murph is. While he's there, he's trying to yell at Murph through this bookcase. He's the one who's been causing all these books to fall off the shelf. It's at this point he makes contact with TARS.
Yeah.
TARS has found the quantum data, the data that basically says gravity can cross dimensions and time. And we're like, whoa, shit, we can't communicate with him. How are we going to get him?
But here's the thing. He was communicating with Murph. Used through Morse code, through pushing the books open. What I don't understand is if he lived his life previously, which he had, why would you not send a different message? Right. Anything. Because obviously the word stay did not make you stay.
They didn't make you stay, but he's still trying to say stay. So it's very trippy. It really makes you think. Trust me, if you're a dumb person, you're not going to like this movie. If you don't like science, you're not going to like this movie. But if you do, awesome. If you have the least bit interest in science, you're going to love this movie. But before Coop left, he gave Murph a watch.
Yeah.
And Murph has been setting that on the bookcase. And Coop basically tells TARS, give me the quantum data in Morse code. I'm going to use the second hand on this watch to send the quantum data to Murph.
Type out the message.
Murph's going to get it, figure out the whole thing. Murph comes running out. While she was up in the bedroom, she set fire to Tom's crops to get him out of the house.
Yeah, faceless Tom.
Tom didn't want her there. She was like, I need to get back up there, so I'm going to burn his crops. She comes back down after she has the data. Tom's back. She's like, Dad's going to save us. And she gives Tom a hug, and Tom's face is like, cool, thanks for burning my crops.
Thanks for killing so many people.
From there, Coop just kind of like flies out into the middle of space. He gets ejected from the black hole.
They don't even show it. They just go white flash, and then he wakes up in a room.
Wakes up in a hospital on this Halo-like planet, as you put it.
Yeah, it was just really reminiscent of the Halo ring in Halo.
Yeah, if you're familiar with the video game Halo, it's like almost like a planet that had a center of gravity and everything was around it, instead of a gravity forcing down on it. And to show you that there's some kids playing baseball and they hit a ball, and instead of going out in the outfield, it goes like straight up and crashes into a house above them. Yeah. So it's kind of trippy. And they realize that, okay, everything's cool now. Coop wants to see his daughter. His daughter's like old as shit now.
Yeah, she couldn't make the trip out, but she heard her dad was, so they had her pull her out of cryo sleep.
Yeah, and she's like probably 90-some years old. She's dying, and she just wants to see her dad one more time. They share a touching moment, and then he leaves, and we realize all this time Professor Brandt's been on Edmund's planet. Edmunds is dead. She's sadly burying him. I don't know if you about that.
I didn't catch that, actually.
I always wondered. When they come to her, she was on a rock bed, and she had his name tag. And she was placing it on rocks, and she had a tear in her eye.
Oh.
And I'm assuming he was dead. So
they didn't make that really clear, though.
They didn't make it clear, but I mean, read between the lines. So she's on this planet by herself, where everybody's heading. And that's basically where the movie ends. Yeah. Humanity's safe. Congratulations, Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, good job, buddy.
Yeah. So, what'd you think?
To be honest, it was a bit long, but I definitely loved it. It was visually stunning. Like you said, the score was amazing. A lot of the science was kind of iffy, but I'm no scientist, so I can't really...
we might see the science as iffy, but Christopher Nolan wanted the scientific part of this to be as real as possible. He literally asked for the help of physicist Kip Thorne, which is one of the robots was named Kip, in homage to him, and to help him make everything as real as possible. He literally had to take 2 days to talk Christopher Nolan out of a part of the script where he wanted things to be faster than the speed of light. And he tried to tell him that's not possible. We don't know that yet, so drop it.
Yeah, don't do that. That's kind of funny.
But yeah, I agree. Stunning visuals, awesome score. It was long, but Christopher Nolan does long movies.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta kind of expect that from him.
Yeah.
But the story was good. My point of view, I thought it was. I mean, it's definitely worth a watch. Probably more of a one-time watch, but.
And if you're a fan
watch.
of award-worthy films, this one did win Oscars for sound and visuals and special effects. So it did not go unrecognized by the Hollywood community. This was a great movie. One of the big things about this was its star power, its cast.
Oh yeah, there's tons of people.
Yeah, in fact, 8 of the people in this cast were Oscar nominees. 5 of them were winners. Matthew McConaughey, Michael Caine, Anne Hathaway, Matt Damon, and Ellen Burstyn, all Oscar winners. Jessica Chastain, Casey Affleck, and John Lithgow were nominees. So, big star power. And also, this is the 6th time Christopher Nolan has worked with Michael Caine.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. All 3 of the Dark Knight movies, Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises, Inception, The Prestige, and Interstellar.
Nice.
So
all directors have their go-to guys.
Yeah.
Though.
I mean, I never realized that before, but
yeah.
And in all honesty, all 6 of those movies are fantastic movies too.
Oh, pretty good.
And one other thing I found that was kind of cool, they actually grew a 500-acre cornfield for the Earth scenes, and they did literally burn some of that.
Nice.
So, yeah. But the stuff that they didn't burn, they did sell, so they were able to make some sort of profit off of that.
You gotta love the realism.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's get down to brass tacks. What are you gonna rate it?
I love this, so I give it a 9 out of 10. There's some parts I would have took out, but all in all, this is a great movie.
Nice.
I will watch this anytime. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.
Me, I'm a little bit shy of that. I'm going to probably go an 8 out of 10. I mean, I loved it. It was a great movie, but it's more of a one-time thing. You got to be able to sit down and really pay attention if you're going to watch it. So
yeah, you definitely got to clear space in your schedule to watch this.
It's not something you can just plop down. I had the movie for over a year before I watched it.
Yeah. Yeah. This whole podcast thing was supposed to be started roughly a year ago, but somebody doesn't watch movies very quickly, so
that happens.
But here we are.
Interstellar. You're wiser.
Great movie. IMDb gives this an 8.6 out of 10, so kind of right in the middle where we are agreed on this. I'm not sure what Rotten Tomatoes gave this, but it got reviews all over.
Yeah, general consensus, it's worth a watch. If you haven't seen it, I mean, totally worth it.
Totally worth it. But yeah, absolutely amazing. So
let's take a break here.
Yeah, we're gonna take a break, and we will be back with total different movie.
Opposite end of the spectrum.
Opposite end of the spectrum. This is right up more Gavin's alley. So be forewarned, this next movie is a bit out there, but hope you stay tuned, and we'll be back. Like what you hear? We got plenty more where that came from, such as...
Oh, thank God we're not in Chicago. I instantly thought you were going to say Chicago, and I was like, God damn it.
Screaming monkey boners. You speak into microphones and hear our voice.
Usually say some weird shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, welcome back. This is the second half.
The second half.
And you want to give a little rundown of what the second half entails?
The second half is going to entail a movie that, like we said, is very different from the first one. This is what's known as a B movie. Very low budget, very cheesy, very entertaining.
And that's why we're called Movies from A to B.
Yeah.
Now you know. Mystery solved. All right, this movie we're going to be talking about is 1999's The Item. One of my personal favorite movies, written and directed by Dan Clark, starring Dan Clark, Dave Pressler, Dawn Marie Ferreira, so on and so forth. None of these names you will remember.
No. And you've probably never seen them anywhere else. Small tidbit about one other person in this cast, probably the most prominently known person of this cast, was Nurse Jackie.
Nurse Nikki.
Nurse Nikki, sorry. Who's in the first scene of this movie. Dies an awesomely brutal death. But
amazingly brutal death.
You might know her as...
Alpha 8?
Alpha 8, the robot from Power Rangers.
Yeah, that's her.
Yeah. That
Her
character.
only other roles.
Literally, her only other roles are from the Power Rangers. So, at least you know she was doing good for herself in the late 90s.
Now, this movie has a lot of people pissed off because if you look at the cover, I mean, it's an eyeball looking outside what appears to be a gate or something, and then the tagline says something is dying to get out.
It literally looks like there's some horrific monster, like, just gonna rip you to shreds when it comes out.
This is going to be a gore show from what we're looking at, which it kind of is, but it really isn't.
It is, but not the way you would expect.
So, let's just hop right into it, I guess. This movie starts out in a desert, in a car.
In a desert, at night, in a car. These 4 people are discussing this deal that's about to go down.
They're looking to make a quick buck by watching an item for 24 hours and then getting their money. Easy peasy.
Yeah.
They get paid up front, half the money, get the other half when the item's picked up. It's going to be a good time. And that's when the first car rolls up, which is 2 characters, Dr. Odie and Nurse Nikki.
Yeah. They basically give them the rundown on what you got to do with this item, and it's simple enough. It's leave it the fuck alone.
Yeah, don't touch it.
Don't touch it. Don't do anything.
Just kind of chill.
Yeah. And then they tell them, oh, if it does happen to open, here's what to do.
Yeah, you want to put it back to sleep.
Yeah.
You want to sedate it. Mm.
At that point, you know whatever's in there is alive, and you're probably dying to want to know what's inside.
Yeah. They kind of show it, kind of not. They give little up-down.
Yeah, little up-down corner camera views. So you're kind of just like, what is this? It's trapped in there. It's breathing. It's creepy.
Yeah, they thought they were dealing with a frozen monkey, but obviously not a frozen monkey.
Yeah, the whole time they're told it's a monkey, but
the thing's very slimy. It's disgusting looking. It's an awesome practical effect, in my opinion. But
yeah, and when they do initially get it back to the house, where Alex, the main characters, they take it to his girlfriend's house, right? Or somewhat girlfriend.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Before they leave, they're about to take the passage.
Oh yes.
When Dr. Odie decides he doesn't want to sell the package, he wants to keep it for himself because I don't know, he's a crazy fucking nut job.
He's kind of goofy.
Yeah, he doesn't want to lose it. It's important to him. He's going to hold on to it, and that's when our main character, Alex or Dan Clark, pulls out a gun and blasts him in the back of the head.
Back of the head, and then after that, isn't that when Nurse Nikki decides you don't kill him, I'm going to kill you, and
Nurse Nikki freaks out and pulls out the tiniest half-inch blade knife and a crucifix and starts screaming and running towards their group.
To which Alex and Martin, Fatty,
and Lauren. Was Lauren?
They just start unloading on her, and it's like
about 900 bullets later.
Yeah, countless rounds. She finally comes down.
Squibs popping left and right all over this actress. It was amazing, the amount of blood.
All right, so
they take the package to Rita, his girlfriend, who appears to be an art student. The whole opening of this movie was a mixture of her art and pictures of
creepy children's music played with everything, and it's very, very odd.
Awesome
soundtrack. Awesome artwork, and we'll get to one of her pieces later that I really enjoyed. But they get to her apartment. It's at this point that they kind of have to open the box, right?
Well, they do the introduction.
To get Chinese food.
They send Rita off to go buy some stuff, cappuccino machine and Chinese food, pretty much, yeah.
Which is racist, because she is Asian.
Yeah.
Go buy us Chinese food, yeah.
Because she knows. Of course.
She's gone. They open the box.
They want to see what's inside.
They're like, this doesn't look like a monkey. Let's see what it is.
Let's take a look at it. So they open it up, and this is where we get a real clear view of it. Well, not perfect clear, but
not perfectly clear,
mostly
but
clear.
Picture the creepiest looking glowworm. You remember the glowworms, the little toys from the 90s? You probably had one when you were little.
Yeah.
You snuggled with it in bed. This is not one you would want to snuggle with. It's terrifying.
It's like that with its eyes sewed shut and then just covered in ultra slime.
Yeah. Really gross. And its tail looks like
Suspiciously.
like a dick.
Kind of like penis there.
Kind of like penis.
Yeah.
So, if you don't notice that, you will later, but we'll just hold off on that. But yeah, my first reaction was like, what the hell is that thing?
Yeah.
It's not at all what I was expecting something to jump out and attack them from the cover.
Yeah, you look at the cover, you think, oh, something's going to go crazy, it's going to be bad. No, this thing's just chilling.
It's just chilling. They put it in a bucket, and it's just chilling.
Well, not yet, but...
Not yet.
Then they...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're all having fun and tip over, and that's when Rita's friends come in. You want to give a little description of Rita's friends?
Probably some that your parents wouldn't want you to dress like. They're trannies.
Yeah, a bunch of
They're
trannies.
transsexuals, which, yeah, a little different, but...
Yeah. This is a very progressive movie for
very progressive, so...
But
they come in...
Yeah, they see what's inside the box, kind of glimpsing at it, and they start to freak out.
And...
Alex and his friends start to pull their guns, and thus...
ensues the tranny chase.
Yeah, the most epic tranny chase you'll ever see. I don't know how many we've seen, but this one is the best.
Speaking of which, during this tranny chase, when did they get hoverboards?
Oh, I don't know.
If you notice during the scene, when they're running, they're not moving. Running. They're just kind of like gliding. So
if you watch the special edition, it shows those shots being shot. And they're just hilarious because the camera is staying static with them the entire time, and you're just seeing them glide across the alleys.
Yeah, and
running away and running after.
It basically they're trying to get rid of all these trainings.
Yeah, I want to get rid of the witnesses, make sure
nobody remembers.
So they chase him down. There's a few epic gun scenes. One of the characters, Martin, pretty much just tracks his down and shoots him in the back as he's climbing a ladder.
Yeah.
And then has a discussion about life and whether or not he should kill him.
Yeah. And then Alex and Fatty pin one behind some trash cans.
Yeah, the 6 foot tall Asian.
6 foot tall Asian one, and he unleashes the cheesiest line in the movie. And they said, you can come out now. And to which the trainer replies, oh, honey, I did that years ago.
But they go up, try to shoot him in the face, and he, of course, because he's Asian, karate kicks the gun out of his hand.
But they eventually get him, right?
Yeah. Alex runs after the gun, dives, grabs it.
Gory deaths this whole entire way.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Unloads about 6 rounds into his chest, popping out the back, and then walks up and shoots him in the head after kissing him. Yeah. The whole...
Extremely weird, but pretty awesome.
Yeah, really got to Fatty in that.
Yeah. So... But we learned from this, Martin... who had an awesome mustache, by the way.
Yes, his mustache is a fantastic.
Like, people could learn something from that mustache. He let his trainee go, right?
Yeah, we don't find that out till later.
But
everyone gets back,
yeah,
and the creature wakes up at that point.
Wakes up, yeah.
Where they have to put the antiseptic on to, make sure it lives, everything that Dr. Odie had taught them.
Mm-hmm.
So they dab on a little bit of antiseptic on its
lube.
Yeah, lube, whatever you want to call it, on the alien penis tail.
Yeah. And it's okay.
Yeah,
now it's surviving. It's not dead.
It's not attacking. It's not screaming. It's not doing anything. So
they just want to keep watch on it.
Yeah, they still got a job to do,
Yeah. So who's first up to keep watch on it?
Good old Fatty.
Good old Fatty. And this guy is just, like, getting berated the entire movie about being what a fat ass he is.
Yeah, they give him so much shit.
So much shit. And I'm thinking, how the hell does this guy put up with this? Like, it's just brutal. Like, Alex mainly just, for somebody who's his best friend, they just beat the shit out of him with insults.
So Fatty gets to watch the bucket for the first, because they put it in a bucket.
Yeah.
We said that? I don't know.
Of course, that's what you do when you catch something. Put it in a bucket.
Throw it in a bucket.
Make it away.
It's not going to jump out of the, 2 foot tall bucket you put it in.
Right.
So, yeah, Fatty's watching the bucket, and that's when they cut scenes between that and Alex banging his girlfriend who came back with the Chinese food, unknowing that her friends are dead.
Yeah. So Alex is like, oh, everything's all cool. Let's go fuck in the bathtub.
Yeah, and have like
So-
a glow-in-the-dark star light show
Yeah.
with vibrators and shit. It's
So while they're fucking, what is Fatty doing? Watching the creature.
well,
But he's also mowing down on the bananas
Of
that were
course.
given to what they thought was a monkey.
yeah.
So when Alex comes back in to check on him, kind of gives him some shit for not having the gun in his hand.
Yeah, he does a
right?
little bit more than give him shit, and he eventually
Yeah.
pulls the gun, tickles him a little bit, and then pulls the gun and puts it against his forehead like he's gonna blow his goddamn head
Yeah.
off.
And you're like, whoa, calm down,
That shit
Alex.
got serious real quick.
So after that, that's when Alex leaves the room.
And that's when shit
That's
gets
when
weird.
Shit gets weird. The creature talks.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Oh yeah, he talks.
He talks. He doesn't have a mouth, really, but he talks, right? Or does he have a mouth?
Oh yeah, he has a mouth.
Yeah, he has a mouth.
It opens, it shuts.
And he starts talking to Fatty. And kind of having, like, a one-on-one with Fatty. And finding out why Fatty's puts up with all this crap. God, why did you put that picture up? Oh, man.
Just pulled up a picture of the
That's
item.
fucking
Right?
terrifying. But in a
Sexy.
really not sexy at all. Gross. But basically, kind of gets inside Fatty's head. And
Yeah, really puts the screws to Fatty's psyche.
Yeah. And to which Fatty just fucking loses it.
Tells him how he's how he's cold from crouching down in front of the fridge while eating salami and individually sliced packages of cheese.
So Fatty
All you got to
comes
do is turn out the light, and that's when Fatty goes crazy,
crazy.
screaming, "Turn out the lights!"
Turn
and
out the light, runs into the living room.
unloads an Uzi into the crowd, pretty much.
But
trying to
in
kill off his friends.
typical B movie fashion, doesn't hit anybody.
Yeah, the million bullets he shoots out of that gun do not hit a single person
No. And then they calm him down
by railing him in the back of the head with a was that fire extinguisher
Fire
maybe?
extinguisher,
Yeah,
I
I
think.
think Martin hits him.
Martin hits him. Alex takes him out to the alley, kind of has a heart-to-heart with him.
Yeah, talk him down,
Down.
apologize, and then
Hey, buddy.
what any good friend would do, he puts a bullet
Pats
in
him
the back
on
of
the
his head.
shoulder, puts the gun to the back of his head, and shoots him in the head. Fatty dies.
And more
You're
money
like,
for
"What
the other
fuck,
three.
Alex." Oh, and then you're thinking, oh, okay, now we split $500,000 3 ways instead of 4.
That's good, right?
Right? So,
At this point, someone has to watch the monkey or the
it's
item.
not a monkey. It is not a monkey. God, it is not a monkey. Monkeys are, like, so cute and cuddly compared to this thing.
This thing's cute and cuddly. Look at it.
No, it's not.
So they put Martin on the job. Good old mustache
Good
Martin.
old porn stash Martin.
And he had hinted earlier to having a medication he's taking, so the item is figuring out what it is and fucking with him about having cancer and how he's going to die and who's going to take care of his kids. And
At this point, the creature kind of distorts. It kind of looks sick.
oh yeah, it takes on whatever
Takes on, like,
it's talking
kinda like
about.
the tumor
Yeah,
Martin has.
looks all sickly and gross, not sexy and smooth like it usually does.
So, is it then at this point we find out Martin's tranny got away?
Yeah, this is
Comes
when
back.
he comes out to talk to Alex, and then that's when the tranny that Martin was supposed to kill shows up and tries to talk Martin again out of killing him. Which I don't know why he'd come back. I mean, he had a
Yeah.
gunshot in him, but
Well, because she had Chinese food. That's why.
well, yeah, you got the Chinese food. You got to go back for it. They're the white guy egg rolls. Remember?
Oh
Yeah, they're not regular ones.
yeah.
So, yeah, this what was he? Pretty much dressed in black, and
He
then
was like black with
pale as shit
pale
with
as
the
shit with
whitest hair.
blonde hair. Yeah, like
Kind of convinces Martin
Yeah.
to go the other way, and because Alex is constantly talking shit,
yeah.
and at this point, Alex has kind of tipped a few radars in all of his old friends.
Yeah, everybody's not liking Alex at this
Yeah.
point because they kind of realize Fatty doesn't come back. So,
Yeah. They knew he killed him. So.
Alex doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Alex is the ringleader.
He is a textbook sociopath.
Yeah.
He doesn't care, just doing job, just
And to which Dan Clark did a great job
Yeah.
portraying this character. Awesome.
I kind of feel like if I met him in real life, he'd be a sociopath. It's like,
So Martin and Alex are talking. Don't they have a gun to this tranny? Both of them have a gun to him or something?
no, this is when Martin turns the gun on Alex.
Turns the gun on Alex.
He's going to put him down. And at this point in the movie, I kind of got a glimmer of hope. I was like, okay, this guy's going to get
Alex is going to
knocked
get it.
out. Yeah. And that's when the tranny finds a gun under the couch that was dropped off earlier in the movie and unloads. Yeah.
Conveniently, yeah.
Unloads several shots into Martin.
Into Martin, and Martin's dead.
Yeah, Martin's
dead. And at this point, you're like, oh, Martin's dead.
Yeah.
Fuck Alex for still being alive.
Wait, it was because Alex said, yeah, go ahead and kill them both because he was going to kill the tranny
and Rita.
And Rita, his
at
girlfriend.
This point, Rita's like, fuck you, Alex.
Yeah.
Why? So
Martin's dead, and Alex runs up, blasts the tranny.
Blasts the tranny, kills him.
It was one of those cool hoverboard shots again.
Yeah, another one just slides across the floor. Shh, bang.
Leans over and is like, oh, you must be one of Rita's friends. Nice to meet you.
And is this when Lauren comes in with the frying pan? Shortly after.
Shortly after, yeah. They make their way to the kitchen. I can't remember exactly how.
And Lauren, with the other part of the foursome, just unloads with the frying pan on Alex. Just
like about
at
6
least
to
12.
8 swings.
At least 12. Just right side, left side, right side, and Alex doesn't go down.
Yeah.
Typical B-movie fashion.
It was great.
Just kind of shakes his head like...
So much blood, though.
Yeah. Alex is faced to beat to shit now.
And at that point, they make their way to the table where they're chit-chatting what they're going to do. Because, after you've just killed a bunch of people and had your face bashed in, you're going to want to sit down and discuss what to do next.
Right. By conveniently putting a gun in the middle of the table, too.
Yeah,
right?
there happened to be a gun.
Conveniently
in the middle.
Conveniently.
So Alex is talking with Lauren, and Alex keeps making gestures towards the gun, and he goes to grab it when
Lauren grabs it first
and
shoots Alex in the chest, to which probably the biggest and bloodiest explosion.
Yeah, how did you explain it?
Like, he had a stuffed pig on his back exploding.
Just beautiful.
It just, for one bullet to cause that much damage, is obviously...
Or for the human body to have
that much blood and gore, it was pretty epic. Exploding on the wall, putting a whole new color of paint on the wall.
Just painting it.
Then Alex decides, I'm going to go lay down.
Oh, but I loved how he was talking about he was going to go lay down, and then he coughs, and more blood shoots out.
Yeah, more blood shoots out. So,
as if coughing adds an extra 2 gallons of blood shoots.
He goes and lays down.
One of the few art choices in this is when he's laying down in that bed. As the scene progresses, the sheets get progressively redder.
He keeps bleeding. Like,
they go from white to like pink to
like an unlimited supply of blood or whatever. But by this point, Alex is dead.
Well, he's not quite dead because he has to have his heart-to-heart with the item. Which is still crawling around at this point. You really haven't noticed that it's been missing, but
But he comes in. They talk, right?
Yeah, he tells him what kind of person he is and how he should die and how he's gonna die, and then Alex dies.
He dies, yeah.
Luckily, which is good.
And we go back out to the kitchen where it's just Rita and Lauren.
2 survivors.
2 survivors,
and
2 chicks.
Yeah, 2 chicks.
2 chicks.
Yeah. We all like that.
And of course, they kiss.
They have a little tender session. Lauren decides to take off with as much of the money as she can hold and
leaves.
Yeah.
So it's just Rita and the item.
Yeah.
And we finally get to see why the item's tail is shaped like a penis.
Yeah. In one of the vaguely graphic...
probably the most disturbing sex scene I've ever seen.
One of the most, let's put this properly, amazing alien sex scenes you have ever seen.
Amazing alien sex scene, yes, we'll describe that. So, if you can't catch it through those terms, Rita fucks the item.
It's beautiful. It's touching. It's... You see the point of penetration on her face.
If you just forget for a second that this is some creature, it is. It's beautifully shot. It's beautifully done. Very tender. It's sensual, yeah, and
But it's all about how the head of the penis
the head of the tail
splits open like a mouth.
like a mouth, like a flower blooming,
like a tremor mouth.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so
Good time.
they share this night of passion, Rita and the Thing, and they go off screen.
And
We hear a gunshot.
And credits.
So you're kind of left open-ended there at the end.
Yeah, with
who shot who? Did the creature shoot Rita? Did Rita shoot the creature?
or did they shoot each other?
Yeah.
Shoot themselves all in one
And
bullet, head to head.
There's a knock on the door.
There's more than a knock. The door keeps banging and banging. Someone's trying to get in. We're assuming that's people coming to pick up the package, because just out of time type of thing.
Yeah. That's the movie.
Yeah.
Definitely not what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
This is way more of like a psychological terror type movie. That item, you think the item's going to physically torture these people, but it really mentally tortures them.
Yeah.
Which is pretty awesome. I did enjoy this movie.
Yeah.
Like it's terribly cheesy. Awesome gore.
You had said something about an art project, one of the art projects.
Yeah, Rita and Lauren were discussing the one art project she had on the wall. It was just a board with a bunch of fucking nails in it.
Yeah.
And she literally described that being life.
Yeah.
Just a board, just
repetitive task.
Pounding a repetitive task of pounding a nail into a board, and that is her description of life. I'm like, that's deep. It's deep. If you think about it, but
it's got its points.
By the way, this whole one of the many creepy art projects.
Yeah, the whole apartment is just filled with all these art projects that are just fun to look at.
I don't know if you remember. Do you remember Dharma and Greg? Dharma's apartment was like multicolored, fruity, and basically it reminded me of that, but with a lot more creepiness.
Yeah, tons more baby heads.
Yes, a lot of baby heads. Yes. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it was awesome. There's a lot of gore that I think you said at the time, since this is from 1999, a lot of these was unseen at the time.
Well, a lot of they did a digital film, which was one of the first movies ever done around that time. So in a way, they're kind of revolutionary in what they were doing, but it definitely didn't get much play in the system, I guess.
No, didn't get much play, but in researching it, oddly enough, this movie was nominated for the Grand Jury Prize at Sundance Film Festival in 1999.
Indeed.
So, if you're thinking this is just some crappy B movie, it was not. Critics.
There were people who liked it.
There were people who liked it.
Majority of the people hate this movie.
Yeah, like if you go on IMDb and look at the reviews, it's 90% of them are just terrible.
Just bashing it.
But I particularly enjoyed it. I'm going to give this, out of 10, a 6 to 7. I'll give it that.
Now, this is honestly one of my favorite movies. I watched this on VHS back in the day when I was renting, and then bought it from that same rental store, and then they got the DVD of it, and then I bought that eventually. This is a movie that has been with me for a long time, so that's why one reason I wanted to do it. Another reason is the practical effects in this are amazing. You don't see that anymore nowadays. It's all CG and it's all fake blood, and it just doesn't. It's not as good as it was back in the day. And this was one of the last movies of that era.
Nothing in this was fake.
Yeah, there was some fake CG blood here and there, but
not much.
A lot of it was practical, which
Alex's death scene, that was probably all real, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was all. But I mean, the prosthetics, the puppet itself that played the item was just awesome. It's something straight out of Jim Henson, except like Todd McFarlane mixed with Jim Henson.
Picture if you skinned Kermit the Frog, and then sewed his eyes shut. That's probably what this item would look like.
It's just beautiful. Give it a penis tail. It'll be great.
Yeah. So out of 10, what are you gonna give it?
I'm probably a bit biased on this, but I'm definitely gonna give it an 8.5.
0.5.
I'm verging on 9 just because I want to, but
yeah.
I'll be fair and be an 8.5.
So we're in the same ballpark. IMDb gives us a 3.3 out of 10.
Yeah,
but
Rotten
they're-
Tomatoes gives it a 15%. It is really low.
So, if you haven't checked it out, check it out. Trust me, we can't describe this enough. This movie's got to be seen to be believed. So,
Definitely amazing.
yeah. But with that being said, I think that's going to wrap up this episode.
That'll be our first
This will be our
flagship
first
episode.
pilot episode, yeah. We thank you all for listening. We hope you enjoyed it.
And we hope that you listen to plenty more.
Yeah, we're going to be doing this, for as long as we can. We have a lot of fun. Me and Gavin both enjoy movies, so we hope to keep.
And I'll keep giving him B movies as long as he keeps giving me A movies.
Right, and we are out there on social media. If you feel like you want to give us some comments, some questions, future ideas for movies we could watch, get at us at email. We are at mfabpodcast@gmail.com. We are on Facebook. Just search for MFAB Podcast, and you can hit us up on Twitter at MFAB Podcast. With that being said, we hope to see you again.
I'm Gavin.
I'm Aaron. We'll catch you later.
We're out.
Next week on the MFAB Podcast, we watch Mark Wahlberg steal some gold in The Italian Job.
And we get to see the South Park guys' first movie in Cannibal the Musical.
Until next time,
That's a wrap.
cut.